I didn't warn my cousin that her speech would upset everyone. My cousin Tessa asked me to look over her maid of honor speech 2 weeks before my sister's wedding. She sent me a Google Doc at 11 p.m. with a note that said, "Be honest, I want this to be perfect." I read it 3 times. My stomach dropped lower with each pass. The speech wasn't bad. It was devastating. Tessa had written about how my sister Morgan was her role model, how Morgan taught her to stand up for herself, how Morgan was the only person who believed her when she came forward about what Uncle Leonard did to her at family gatherings when she was 12. Uncle Leonard, the man who would be sitting at table 4 with his wife and 3 kids, the man our family protected for 15 years, the man everyone pretended was just a little weird with boundaries. I stared at my phone for an hour trying to figure out what to do. See, here's what you need to understand. Tessa told Morgan about the abuse when they were teenagers. Morgan told our parents. Our parents told Tessa's parents. And then, nothing happened. Everyone decided Tessa was exaggerating, seeking attention, making something out of nothing. Uncle Leonard kept coming to holidays, kept hugging everyone, kept sitting too close to the younger cousins while the adults looked the other way. Tessa stopped coming to family events after high school. She moved across the country for college and never came back. This wedding was the first time she'd agreed to be in the same room as our family in 7 years. And now she was about to tell 200 people exactly why. I called Morgan, told her I'd read the speech. She was quiet for a long moment. Did she mention him by name? Yes, more silence. Then Morgan said something I didn't expect. Good. I asked if she wanted me to warn Tessa that this would blow everything up, that our parents would be humiliated, that Uncle Leonard's wife would probably make a scene, that the entire reception could turn into chaos. Morgan's voice was steady. Tessa has been waiting 15 years for someone to let her speak. I'm not going to be the person who silences her again. So I didn't warn Tessa. I didn't tell her to soften anything. I didn't suggest she remove his name. I just texted back, "It's perfect. Don't change a word." The wedding was beautiful. Morgan looked stunning. The ceremony went smoothly. Then came the speeches. Tessa stood up with her champagne glass, shaking slightly. She started talking about sisterhood and chosen family, about the people who show up when blood relatives fail you. Then she said it. Morgan was 14 when I told her what Uncle Leonard did to me. She was the only person in this family who believed me, who held me while I cried, who begged our parents to protect me. The room went completely silent. Uncle Leonard's wife dropped her fork. It clattered against her plate like a gunshot. Tessa kept going. Her voice got stronger with every word. For 15 years, I was told I was lying, dramatic, confused. But Morgan never stopped believing me, never stopped fighting for me. And when she asked me to be her maid of honor, she told me to say whatever I needed to say. So I'm saying it. She looked directly at Uncle Leonard. I'm not confused anymore, and I'm done being quiet so everyone else can be comfortable. Uncle Leonard stood up so fast his chair fell backwards. His wife was crying. My mother had her head in her hands. My father looked like he wanted to disappear. But Morgan stood up and started clapping. Then her new husband, then the groom's family, who had no idea what was happening but recognized courage when they saw it. Half the room joined in, the other half sat frozen. Uncle Leonard stormed out with his family. My parents followed, trying to do damage control. After the reception, my mother cornered me in the bathroom. "You read that speech beforehand. You could have stopped this." I looked at her reflection in the mirror. "You could have stopped him 15 years ago, but you didn't." So I didn't stop her. She slapped me across the face. I didn't flinch. "Tessa finally got to tell her truth," I said. "And you're mad at me for not protecting the family's image. That tells me everything I need to know about who you really are." I walked out and found Tessa crying in the parking lot. Happy tears this time. She hugged me so tight I couldn't breathe. "Thank you for not warning me," she whispered. I would have chickened out. Uncle Leonard's wife filed for divorce 3 weeks later after his other victims started coming forward. Turns out Tessa wasn't the only one he'd hurt. She was just the first one brave enough to say it out loud.